Hey there, it's me, Lottie, and today what we're going to do is talk about a little review and experience I had with Ntozake, Shange, Sassafrass, Cypress, and Indigo. Sassafrass, Cypress, and Indigo. Now, I read this book back in 2021 in July, and I wrote a review of it on Goodreads, and all I remember now from that review is that I loved it and I wanted to own it. I think I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but I still knew that I wanted to own it. So let me just tell you a little bit about it. First of all, it is the first novel that Ntozake Shange wrote. You may be more familiar with her as the author of For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. This is her first novel. I just learned it took a long time for her to complete this book. Here's a little bit about the book. It says, "Where there is a woman, there is magic." Sassafrass, Cypress, and Indigo is the story of 3 colored girls, 3 sisters and their mama from Charleston, South Carolina. Sassafrass, the eldest, a poet and a weaver like her mother, gone north to college, living among bohemians in Los Angeles and trying to weave a life out of her work, her man, her memories, and dreams. Cypress, the dancer who leaves home to find new ways of moving and easing the contractions of her soul. Indigo, the youngest, still a child of Charleston, too much of the South in her, who lives in poetry, can talk with her dolls, and has a great gift of seeing the obvious magic in the world. It is a novel of astonishing immediacy and beauty. Ntozake Shange has created a living world with all of its paraphernalia and color, recipes and letters, choreography and magic, spells, music, and poetry. That's as far as I'm going to go as far as what the book is about. Here's a lovely photograph of the author. And I'm just going to share a little bit of my review off of Goodreads. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I said that I really enjoyed the book and think it's one that I want to not only read in paper format, but for my own personal library. So yes, I listened to this on audiobook, and I remember I was working in my garden at the time, and I just loved listening to it and listening to the travels of these women and the trials and tribulations of their lives while I was working in my garden, and I just really felt all connected up together with them. I felt like there were a lot of cultural and historic Southern ways written about that I would like to mull over a bit more. In other words, this is a book that I felt like I could study or could springboard into studying other cultural elements. I was really lost in the story, and I did feel like the ending was a little abrupt. And I said that I thought that was because I got lost in some of the magical realism of it, and that I needed more time with these characters. That was what I overall said. The only reason it didn't get 5 stars for me is that I wanted more. I wanted more of this story. I liked the relationships, the way they were depicted, although some of them were very difficult and painful, and some were very loving and sweet. So, like I said, this book really made an impact on me, and I had already decided that I wanted to own it. So, here we go to my experience. A couple weeks ago, I decided to stop in the used bookstore, and now that I have been doing a lot more reading, listening to audiobooks, and just doing a lot more reading in general, I am starting to get a feel for, like I said, what I want to own, what I probably would not read again. So I kind of was going in with, let me take a look and see if I can find some particular things. Some of the classics like Nella Larson, Anne Petrie, And I hadn't planned on looking for this book, but it jumped off the shelf at me. This lovely hardcover edition with this dust jacket on it. So let me just tell you now a little bit more about the book itself. So this edition, and this is the first time I've done this, like I'm a book reader, and I would say I'm like, how do I explain it? I'm not a book collector, but I do end up with a collection, a collection of a lot of books. So this is from 1982, and it was printed by St. Martin Press, New York. And like I said, it has its dust jacket on it. So let's take the dust jacket off for just a minute. I didn't take the dust jacket off before I bought it, but when I got it out, it's pristine, right? And look, can you see? I don't know if you can see. I'll have to put a little B-roll in here. That there is a Sassafrass, Cypress, and Indigo leaf embossed on the cover. And we have Sassafrass, Cypress, and Indigo colors. Here's the side of it. And I mean, it is in absolutely perfect condition. I don't know if I'm gonna still have to buy like a reading copy. So that's when you get into like collecting, right? When you're like, oh, here's my reading copy and here's my copy. So it says it's dedicated to all women in struggle. Ain't that us all? Woohoo! I like the way at the beginning of each chapter there is a little graphic here. The first sentence is that where there is a woman, there is magic. If there is a moon falling from her mouth, she is a woman who knows her magic, who can share or not share her powers. Oh, this first paragraph, honey. Okay. And like I said, it has like spells, and then it has recipes. Breakfast with Hilda Afania and her girls on Christmas morning. It has recipes. It's just so, I don't know. I love it. Creation is everything you do. Make something. So it's not just, so like I said, it has all these lovely elements that were sort of described in the audio version. So that was another reason why I definitely wanted to own it. But let's get back to the dust jacket for a moment. So the dust jacket is in pretty good shape for being, what, 82, 92, 2002, 2012, 2022, 40 years old. The dust jacket is in pretty good shape. It has a little tiny, some rips here, and a little tiny rip here. So 40 years, okay? But I found out that this cover art was done by Romare Bearden. So that was an additional, like, I didn't know that when I bought it. I just thought it was a lovely cover, right? But the jacket art is by Romare Bearden. That makes it extra special. This is just really special to me. I guess after all that, it's like, it should be 5 stars, right? This is a 5-star book. Can it be a 5-star book and not a 5-star read? I don't know. Anyway. So I also look at this as an opportunity to study more about Romare Bearden. I know that he was an American artist, but I didn't know he was an author and a songwriter. Oh, he loved to work in collage, which is one of my absolute favorite forms of making art, is collage work. And it says that, I'm looking at Wikipedia, that his early work focused on unity and cooperation within the African American community. And the New York Times described him as the nation's foremost collagist in his 1988 obituary. So this was published in 1982. Now, I wonder if he did the art. Did they utilize art that he had already made, or did he make it specifically for this? I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to do some more research on Romare Bearden. Ntozake Shange has such a warm place in my heart for my experiences with her through the play for Color Girls. Such a rich experience with that. And there are other books that she has written. So anyway, this is me talking about Sassafrass, Cypress, and Indigo, and I hope you'll check it out. I think I might buy like a paperback, like a newer paperback that I can, just really get into, because I don't know. I love this book. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're doing well, and until I see you in the next video, take care.